let's work on a Python application together. How you might say track expenses for a student club. Okay, so first thing I want you to do is go to File, Save a Copy in Drive. Okay, that way you can have your own copy of this notebook. And let's look at what it says. It says you're part of a club that just had a fundraiser. Okay, open a new tab. And you paid $843 in advance to set up the fundraiser. The club earned $2,375, but you had to pay additional closing contest costs of $75. Track all the expenses. Okay, so when you have your copy, go ahead and get rid of the copy part. That way it saves cleaner for you. Okay, so what we need to do here is keep track and then compute the profits. Okay, and one of the keys here is that you want to name your variables something sensible that anybody can understand. And so what we have here is say something like setup costs, right? And this is 843. Now, when you earn money, the total amount coming in is often called the revenue. Okay, so you could say that the revenue here is 2,375. Note, you do not want to use commas in Python. If you put a comma in there, well, maybe you can. We'll find out. It's always good to try things. You know, sometimes things change over time. And then you want to have closing costs of $75, okay? So that's storing the variables as words that make sense for this fundraiser. So let's check to see if they all store properly. We'll press Shift Enter. I'm wondering about that comma in the 2375 in particular. And it actually worked, okay? That's fascinating. I'm going to keep it out because I don't think it's cleaner without. Okay, now how do we compute the profits? Okay, well, for the profits, you just have to think about this. You know, the profits are, a sensible way to do it would be to compute the total costs first, right? And that's equal to your setup costs. And then that's going to be also plus your closing costs. Okay, so that's your total cost. And I think it's nice when you do things like this to show the total costs. Okay, now let's go ahead and run that. You press Shift Enter. You see the total costs were 918. Okay, next you can show the profits. So the profits are basically the revenue, then minus the total costs, not equals, minus the total cost. And then what you can do then is at the very end, you can print out your profits. Okay, so go ahead and set that up, press Shift Enter, and then you can see the total profits. Now, it is very useful to sort of store information like this in coding notebooks because numbers can change and you can modify them over time. And, you know, it's also an advantage of, you know, a lot of the notebooks are not, you know, you can have them privately shared just among people in your group. And this is a nice little example of how very quickly, with just having like a few basic skills in Python, you can quickly start to use it for things that are very practical. And I will make a confession here. You know, I use IPython notebooks to do my taxes, and it's actually similar to this. This is the way kind of I keep track of expenses, generally speaking. And what's nice about it is it's easy for me if I need to modify things, I find out additional information, or if I need to go back in the future to check past years.